Three's a charm. Three's a charm. So awesome. Welcome, welcome, welcome to today's The Circle. The month of April is dedicated to empaths. And I know I talk to a lot of empaths. And last week we talked about what is an empath. And this week we are going to be looking at more of the mechanics, how to ground and center, and actually what's actually happening. What is it? Why am I picking up all of this and what the hell do I do with it anyway? So, anyway, I'm just really excited to be here in the circle with both of you or all of you. So, this is Empaths Grounding and Centering. This is the circle with Granddaughter Crow. I am going to set sacred space. So awesome. Welcome into this space. Welcome into this time. I'm going to draw a circle around this circle, declaring it as a sacred space and a sacred time. I'm going to remove my ego so I can be a clear conduit for you and for the divine as it reveals itself to you to provide you with information, support, love, encouragement, empowerment, whatever it is, understanding whatever it is that's going to be the most beneficial to you. So, this is our space and our time. So, my dear empaths, let's start taking a look at what we're going to be doing. So, the overall takeaways for this session, this circle, is basically what is happening? Like, can you give me some texture around, is this just overwhelming for everybody? What is actually happening? And why am I processing like I am? And then also we're going to be talking about becoming more aware of, now that I understand what is happening, I can become more aware of what I want to do with this energy. And then, of course, more tools for self-care. So, lived experience. This is fun because this is how I feel life is. It's all, rah, it's just this loud, blaring siren. And, I'm just going to we'll talk about the science of it in a minute, but I wanted to give you the story of school. So when I was young, let me just say this. I was an empath before I knew what an empath was. And I think that that's the same for all of us now, because the term empath is just now more of a widely used word where it wasn't when we were young. And so when I was in school, I was first in private school. And in private school, there was, oh gosh, 30 people per class, meaning 30 people in first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, all K through 12, only 30 people in each. And we all shared a school, and it was very overprotective. We didn't listen to secular music. You can't wear your skirt above your knee. You have to dress for church and chapel on Wednesday. All of these things. And whatever you or me think about that private school isn't the point. The point was I was in a capsule. I did act out. I definitely was acting out, but I didn't know why exactly, but I was kind of energetically moving through a lot of things in my life. Then, when I was in the sixth grade, they took me out of private school and put me into a public school. So that experience was, there were 300 plus people in my sixth grade class. It was a middle school, so it was sixth, seventh, and eighth, but there was like 900 people there. And there were lockers, and there were hallways, and there was crashing of closing of the lockers, yelling of the kids. And it wasn't like, let's be good people. I was taught that I could smell drugs. People were cussing. I got overstimulated. I got overstimulated to the degree that I would fake sick so that I wouldn't have to go. I would rather get in trouble, and at that point in my life, it was okay to give me the whoopings with the rod of correction. And so I got the whoopings a lot. And I didn't understand what was going on. And But I was just like, I would rather get the whoopings and be a disappointment than enter that arena. It was way, way, way too much. And I didn't understand what was going on. But when I realized, when I was about 35, I'm an empath, I'm like, oh, now it all makes sense. It makes sense. So I wanted to kind of talk a little bit about the lived experience. That was one of my lived experiences. Sometimes when I drive down the highway, or even walk through a store, I feel waves of energy. I don't know if you guys experience what I'm experiencing. I want you to kind of think about how do you experience it. But sometimes, like, I remember just driving down the street and I'm like, do, 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 do. Whoa, what did I just blow through? So I started kind of visualizing what is this? What is this stuff that I'm moving through? And then I also always felt different. I never really felt like I belonged. I didn't know how to do, oh, hello, how are you? Fine, thanks. How are you? How's the weather? How's the kids? How's the dog? I don't know how to talk like that. I faked my way through that stuff and I really became quiet for many, many years. People just thought of me as a quiet person. You guys know otherwise. I felt like a sponge. I felt like a mirror. I felt like nobody could see me, nobody understood me, but I was always there for them because I was there for them. Why couldn't people be there for me in the way that I needed it? Why can't they pick up what I need? I pick up what they need. I didn't understand. And then I realized, oh, they're not empaths. I'm picking up what they need because I'm listening with my entire body, with my whole heart, not just my ears. I'm truly there. So empaths need to find other empaths in order to be seen. I felt like an alien. I was like, how come people aren't talking about the deep stuff in the world? And then the news came to me because other people don't think about the deep stuff in the world. And I'm like, no, and I was always there for others. And there's another trait, always saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Then I get this. You apologize too much. Oh, I'm sorry for saying I'm sorry. Oops, I said it again. I'm sorry. I must say I'm sorry just comes out, and I'm still trying to figure out why I do that, and I know other empaths do that. It's almost like we take on this responsibility, and because nobody else is, and we're just like, ooh, so then all of a sudden I'm sorry, I'm sorry, like, my husband will be like, oh, I have a headache. Oh, my God, I'm so sorry you have a headache. And he's like, why are you sorry? You didn't do anything. Do you have like a guilty complex? And I'm like, no, I don't. I just feel bad. And that's the only way I know how to do that. So if you identify with these types of things, I'd love to hear how you experience the world when we get into the after circle. So that's the lived experience, the phenomenon. And that's just like really, the top of it. Let's go ahead and dig a little bit deeper into scientifically, why is this happening? So we're literally wired differently. Dr. Elaine Aron, who coined the phrase highly sensitive person, HSP, she is a psychologist, and she is not a spiritual woo-woo person. She is based in scientific evidence. They hooked up an fMRI around the brain of one who is experiencing the world around them so profoundly and ones who don't, which make up 20% of us really experience the world around us very deeply. And 80% of us don't. So I fall in that 20%. And if you're here, you probably do too. This is what they found. They found more blood flow to a lot of different parts of the brain. One part is the insula, which is also known as the seat of consciousness. That is our deep processor. That is our deep processing unit. Basically, other people, this is why we can't let it go. We just can't let it go. And people are like, just let it go. And we're like, I'm not done processing. So the interesting thing is that I saw this documentary that Dr. Elaine Aron did, and they talked to a bunch of scientists and stuff, and they said, well, what happens with the empath, with more blood flow to the insula, is that we don't just go, oh, this person showed up late today. Oh, well, we're like, oh, this person showed up late today. They never show up late. They're dressed differently. Are they okay? Wait a second. The last time this happened, we go all in. We go all in. And we're really good detectives too. But that's why we actually have more blood flow. We have more blood flow to our mirror neurons, which is why we sometimes feel like we're just mirroring the world around us. It also gives us that deep empathy, like we understand why somebody's mad, we understand why somebody's confused. The frustrating part is that we don't get that back from them, and that's what's so hard. We also have more blood flow to the part of the brain that looks at word choice and sound. So when we're deeply processing, we're like, why did they use that word? Why are they talking percussively? And we get like, whoa, that's loud. That's really percussive. And they're like, what are you talking about? And you're just like, are you in a mood? They're like, no. And it's just like, okay, you don't even know you're in a mood, but I can hear it because of your word choice and your percussion. And then people are like, you're just being too sensitive. And we're like, yeah, well, I've heard that before. It's my fault. I'm sorry, right? We also have more blood flow to the emotions and memory cortex, the part of us that has memories of the emotions that we felt in certain situations, whereas other people don't digest them as much, but we remember the feelings around things. And I think that we do this so that we're able to put language around the energetic phenomenon that we are feeling emotionally. So it's kind of like, well, this is kind of sad, but I also feel a little bit of relief. Or this one is definitely sad. This one feels just a little bit different. So we have like a bigger vocabulary. We record those things in our brain, literally. We watch body language. We watch body language. Now, the body language is very big, but we really do watch body language. We can tell, I don't know if you guys do this. When I was working in Cubeville I could tell who was walking by due to the way that they walked. If they had a heavy foot, I'm like, oh, that's Rob. If it was a light foot, I'd be like, oh, I remember people's, what the sounds that they make. I remember people's voices. I can tell if it's off a little bit. I can tell if I'm off a little bit. So, yeah, it's exhausting, but we're here for a reason. We deeply listen to others. And it's also said that we lack the filtration system of quote unquote irrelevant information. And that was all scientific study that Dr. Elaine Aron conducted. I think it's funny that they say that we lack the filtration system of irrelevant information because it's all relevant. But to a non-highly sensitive person, it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. And so that's what's going on. So yeah, now we've got some explanation, a little bit more about what's going on. Again, with the science, highly sensitive person coined by Dr. Elaine Aron, the four main traits, it is a spectrum. We all land differently on this spectrum. The four main traits are known as the acronym DOES. We have depth of processing. We get overstimulated easily, which is interesting because we also will be there in the worst situations that other people get overstimulated. We show up, but then all of a sudden, when it's time for us to decompress, they decompress, and now all of a sudden we're like, that's too loud. Oh my God. Oh my God. And so we didn't give ourselves the time to process all of that. And we need to be aware that after we show up, we need to be able to retreat and move our bodies, dance, row, play, something to get that energy out because they're over it already. And now we finally feel safe and we need to figure out a process to be able to soothe our nervous system. And then emotionally reactive, is what they say, or empathetic. We react with emotions, kindness, empathy, anger, whatever. We have emotional sensitivity. We have a full language of emotions, and we're very sensitive to the subtleties of the environment. So when you talk about that, and I look at my 12-year-old self, I'm like, oh, I totally understand why I'll take the beatings from the rod of correction, spare the rod, spoil the child, and I will take those and the disappointment and not to be a good Christian girl rather than be in that environment. That environment was, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. Too much for a 12-year-old girl. So let's take a deeper look. Oh, so as we become more aware, so I spoke about my lived experience, and I'm looking forward to hearing yours. And we spoke about the science behind it. And so now that we've become a little bit more aware that there are actually reasons why we are experiencing the world and how we're experiencing it, let's go ahead and just make it simple because it can feel so complex. All we're doing is sensing energy. That's it. Energy flows where consciousness goes. So all is energy. You know, Einstein says this, all is energy. And that's not a philosophy, it is physics. Whether it's like this kind of energy, physical energy, mental energy, emotional energy, nervous system energy, spiritual energy, eclipse, Mercury retrograde energy. If you just break it down and declutter it, it is energy. It is energy. And energy goes where consciousness directs it. So energy flows to consciousness. In the scientific community, this is called or the medical community, this is called the Hawthorne effect. In the quantum physics, it is called the observer effect. It basically is this idea that because you are paying attention to something, that will change because it's being observed. So if in the medical community, if they are going to do a test for some sort of lotion or dermatology lotion or something, they actually put into their equation a percentage of the Hawthorne effect, the placebo effect, the fact that people are paying attention to their skin and how it changes is going to change it just because of that. And so when you're thinking about all is energy and energy flows where you direct your consciousness, that may give you a little bit more of a clue that what you can do with the energy. You can get overstimulated, but you can also empath a tree, a flower, a butterfly, a gentle picture. And a child psychologist said this, that children who are highly sensitive get traumatized quicker, womp womp, but they also recover quicker. They can heal quicker. They understand because it's like this almost, maybe it's a mirror neuron, I don't know. But when you get, there was also somebody who isn't a spiritualist, who is a surgeon, I think on the East Coast. When he gets overstimulated, he says that he stares at a certain texture, like a silk or a fur or something like that, and it starts calming down his nervous system. So direct your energy. You have control over that. Not all the time, but that might be a little bit of a helpful thing. I mean, if you think about it, Granddaughter Crow, I always have the soft lighting, I always have like a plush pillow, I always the different things. So create an environment that decompresses your nervous system. So let's take a look at what else we got. I could talk about this for days. Okay, so we've got the energy flows where consciousness goes, the observer effect and the Hawthorne effect. Ooh, the word psyche. What? Granddaughter Crow, why are you talking about psyche? So, do we have an individual psyche or is it a collective psyche? Well, I did some research into the etymology of the word psyche, and it goes back and it means breath, life, soul. As an English speaker, English thinker, I think of the word psyche as separate. I have a psyche, you have a psyche, they have a psyche, let's go see a psychic. It's like let's go to a psychologist. It's an individual psyche. But truly, when I also have a Navajo side of me, and this is the side that when I ask the Navajo speaker and the Navajo thinker, I say, what is the word psyche? They're like, oh, it's this energy that is like a lake or an ocean. And we are the fish that move through the psyche. It is all collective. It is all collective. So the next time you're like, am I going crazy? Realize that you're a fish flowing through the psyche, and you are going to pick up the subtleties within the psyche that other fish aren't picking up. And when you begin to give yourself that understanding, maybe you can give yourself a little bit more grace. So, yes, I think that we have individual psyches, but I'm more prone to adapt to the way of it's the breath, it is the air, it is the life that we're moving through, and we navigate it differently than the other 80% of society. And the other 80% of society is drawn to us, even though they call us too, TOO, much, sensitive, deep, blah, 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 blah. We're always too much for them. At the end of the day, they defer to us because we see the little patterns and we give them little warnings. Ooh, something's out of balance, something's out of balance. And then they crash and burn, and we're just like, I told you. But it's part of what we do. In fact, I'll go ahead and review this part. Dr. Elaine Aron's biologist friends did studies over 100 other species. About 20% of them classify in the highly sensitive group. And the other 80% of species, like monkeys, primates, all of these, 20% of them are highly sensitive. They pay attention to the subtleties. So biologists actually say that we're here for the survival of the species. Well, great. Now I feel a lot. Now I have to save the world. Thanks, Granddaughter Crow. I hope it just helps you to understand there is a reason, there's a purpose. And in our society, it is not welcome. It's not understood yet. Disclaimer, I have found that I can't turn off the energy. I can mute it, I can release it, I can move it, I can play with it, but I can't turn it off. So how much of this is me and how much of this is not me? Where is this energy coming from? Energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can transfer or change from one form to another. That's the first law of thermodynamics. It cannot be created nor destroyed. It's just transferred and changes. And so if you slow everything down from this overwhelming ocean of psyche and all of how we experience it, and breathe and go, I am experiencing energy. Dr. Michael Smith says, and he too is a psychologist, but he is also a spiritualist. In his research, he has found that 80% of the energy that we're experiencing originates from other sources, and only 20% of the energy that we are experiencing originates from the self. This is the hardest thing. I mean, when I first heard that, I was like, thank God I'm not crazy. Because I would just like drive to the store. Everything's cool, cool, cool. Happy, play my music, get out, walk into the store. Oh God, I feel angry. Oh God, I feel depressed. Oh God, am I going to have a baby? I mean, it's just like all of this stuff is coming at you because of the psyche. That's what I began to understand. That's how I view it in my mind. So I was like, okay. So now, if I understand that 80% is not originating from me, how then am I supposed to figure out what's mine? Because I've been feeling everybody else's stuff for so long. Who am I? That is a road that empaths need to go down. We don't know whether it's originated from us or not. And at the end of the day, if it calms an argument, my fault. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Right? Just to move that energy out. So we need to memorize our energy field. And I'll take us through a little exercise right now. Might as well. It's good as any time. I'm going to invite you to put your little fingertips together. Breathe in through your nose. Hold that breath. Exhale through the mouth. Repeat in through the nose. Hold. Exhale. Release. Continue that for just a few more. Cadence, figure out your rhythm, your timing. Allow it to relax you. Now put yourself in a bubble, a sphere, a cocoon. Put a barrier around you. You can make it any material you want. Above you is a shower of light, and it begins to flow over you, spiritually releasing any residual energy that you might be carrying that is not yours. Probably 80% of it, according to science. Now it flows through your mental body and all the thoughts, and it releases all of the residual energy and washes that down the drain. Now it flows through your emotional body, all of the feelings, your nervous system, and it calms it down, rinsing away anything that's not originating from you. And physically, it hits you on a cellular level, cooling you down, warming you up, giving you the right temperature, rinsing you off, calming your nervous system, giving your heart a hug, and it rinses all the way down the drain. Now that shower of light turns off, and right in front of you is a control panel. I'm going to invite you to look at the control panel. You can create any knobs that you wish, but there is one that is called Other People, Others. I want you to turn that volume down. Turn it down all the way. Now there's one that says me, the self, I. Turn that dial up all the way. Begin to notice how you feel. Memorize what this is. For this is you. Memorize this feeling. Return here as many times a day as you wish. I will clip that and put it in a separate little YouTube video that I send to you so you can go through that exercise and discover who you are. and what that feels like. And when you begin to memorize you, that's when you start understanding when it's not you. And it also gives you self-care. Another thing to do is work with your body as a human pendulum. Basically, I won't tell you all the science around it, but there is science around it. When you hear something that's true, your body gently kind of opens up, leans forward, wants to understand, is curious. When you hear something that is not true, your body moves back, clenches. Your body gives a yes and a no. So start asking questions because your body will pick up more energy than just your mind. And then you can go, I'm going to go outside. I'm going to do my breath work. I'm going to relax and get into me. And then you can say, did that energy originate from me? And let your body tell you. And maybe you get a little yes and a little no. So start kind of breaking it down. Become a detective so that you can figure out when the energy is originating from you. This is key. It is key. I just took you through this really quickly. Okay, so all we have to do is become all we have to do is everything. All we have to do is become an energy detective. So an answer can only be as clear as a question. Learn to ask questions, hone in on the questions, start very basic in order to release assumptions. Allow the energy that you're feeling to have a size, a color, and a voice. The more that you do this, the easier that it gets. And then we're building our energy dictionary, the part of our mind that remembers these things. And so also communication, only 7% is verbal, 93% is nonverbal. So when somebody looks at you and says, I didn't say that, I'm not mad at you. Yeah, they're mad at you. They didn't say it, but they're mad at you. You know what I mean? We're picking all of this up. Awesome. And here is the nitty-gritty. Here's what we do with it. Here is why we need to become the energy detective. It starts here. And I will send you this chart. Post it on your fridge. Remember this. You're perceiving energy, period. That's it. Next question. Does it originate from you? Does it not originate from you? Okay, if it originates from you, got to take care of it. Got to figure out, and this is how to take care of it. If it does not originate from you, 80% of the time it will originate from the external environment. You get to end with love. You get to choose whether you engage. You get to choose what neutral looks like, and you get to choose when you disengage. As long as you do it with love, then you're off the hook as far as I'm concerned. This is really difficult because when I've taught this class in the past, we all know how to engage. We're raised to engage. It's harder for us to be neutral. What does that look like? And some of us are like, I have no idea how to disengage. Everybody disengages differently, and we can talk about that. Sometimes for me to disengage, I will say, excuse me, gotta go wash my hands. And I'll wash my hands and I'll sprinkle water. And then I re-enter the room on a different place. I learn how to disengage. It's a practice, it's a tool. But if you choose to engage, become the energy detective. What does it feel like? Where is it coming from? Give it a texture. Is it masculine, feminine? Is it light, dark? Without judgment, describe it, and you'll get more and more. This is really what Granddaughter Crow does. on any session that I have. I'm like, okay, where is this energy coming from? And a lot of times empaths will call me and all they talk about is everybody else's problems. And I understand why they're doing that because they have to process other people, you know? And so now, once we get it, this is all we have to do. All is energy. Energy seeks its freedom, freedom of expression. It does not like to be blocked. Physical energy doesn't like blockage. Mental energy doesn't like blockage. Emotional energy doesn't like blockage. Spiritual energy doesn't like blockage. And when it gets blocked, I think there's something up with my camera really quickly. So, oopsies. So, oopsies. I'm all thrown up now. Hi, everybody. I'm back with another take two of the empath. So let me go ahead and fix my little slideshow. So, when it gets blocked, it causes disease, it causes swamp, it causes all of that kind of stuff. And so it seeks its freedom. This is actually what I practice when I do any shamanic healing work. I diagnose where is this energy, where is the blockage, and this is how I heal. I don't manipulate it. I give it room to express itself and I unblock the energy. And I do it with a rattle. You could even do it with your hand if you want. I mean, just put your hand up and like rattle, shake around it. You'll feel the energy moving in your auric field. This kind of stuff, releasing that energy. It seeks its freedom. Freedom comes from movement. Dancing, rowing, laughing, ha ha ha, movement, singing, taking a walk, move the energy, move the energy, move the energy. I do this with a rattle. I do this with anything that moves, music. That's why talking helps because you're moving the voice box. You're moving the energy, movement from anything that oscillates. Anything that oscillates. It's interesting to me because of the work that I do, and I do this full time, whether I'm writing a book or in a session or teaching a class or doing a podcast now, got you got podcast, Belief Being and Beyond podcast is growing. But so I do a lot, but it's all based on inspiration, encouraging, and empowering people to be their authenticity. And I light a candle every single night. I've got a list of people and then I've got the other. And I'm like, I say their name every single night. This is energetic work. So I will take a shower, wash my hair in the evening, go outside and let the wind blow dry my hair. Let the wind go through me mentally. Let the wind cleanse me spiritually. Let the wind carry away the thoughts and the emotions. I take a wind bath. I know it sounds funny, but all of a sudden I walk back in. I'm like, whew, round two. Let's go. Let's go. So sometimes grounding and centering is literally just stepping outside and paying attention to the wind and letting it take the energy away. It's oscillating for you. I want you guys to try it and email me. That'd be fun. That'd be fun. So once again, you're perceiving energy. If it's yours, take care of it. If it's not, you get to choose. If you choose to engage, then become the energy detective and then move the energy. Give it freedom. Give it freedom. Okay, so I've got two more. I did the meditation already. We're going to do the energy ball. Oh, this is fun. Here's another way to move the energy. Let's say you're in a situation that you can barely describe because it's a whole saga. It's a whole thing, and there's a lot attached to it. It's a whole situation. You can't just say, oh, I'm having this problem with my friend. It's like, oh no, because it's connected to that and this and that. I mean, so it gets really complex. Visualize a ball, a sphere right in front of you. And in that, pour all of the textures and colors and weight, all of the energy of the situation, the size, the magnitude, all of that energy that you can think of. Pour it in that ball. We're not going to harm it, but we are going to move that energy. And once you've poured everything into that sphere, that ball, that energetic ball, let it go and clap through it. Literally clap through that ball. And in a weird way, I'm already getting chills. I'm like, we just moved something. We just moved something. You don't have to always talk about it. You can just not going to do that. And then the energy seeks its freedom and it'll go do what its next level of doing whatever, but at least it's not stuck, you know? That's a fun one. The next one is grip and release. When you, I experience this as a female Cancer empath, as a Granddaughter Crow, so many reasons. Sometimes just can't let go of something. Just can't let go of it. So instead of trying to let go of it, I go, fine, I'm going to hold on as tight as I can. And I just hold it. So do that with me if you are in a space to do it. Just grip it and hold that thing that, oh. And then when you're ready, open your hands. I don't know why it works. It works, people. I also, my rattles, get a rattle. You could rattle stuff. Like you could write a situation on a piece of paper. Let's break that energy up. Let's break that energy up. It's just energy. When we're experiencing it for a prolonged time, or when it's blocked for a prolonged time, it does hit your nervous system. So take care of your nervous system. Take care of your nervous system, take care of your nervous system, take care of your nervous system. Okay, we did the meditation. Oh, there is one more one that I want to do. Because I called this ground and center, let's talk a little bit about that. You're a tree. Visualize, relax your body and visualize your roots. Visualize and feel what it feels like to go through the soil. What's the temperature? Did you run into a rock? Was there some water source down there? Go as deep as you can, even to the center source of the earth, where there is this beautiful magnetic energy. And pull that energy up through your root system. Pull it through the feet, pull it through your legs, let it move up your back, and then start growing branches of the tree. Let it stretch up into the heavens, touch the sky, feel the clouds as you're growing and growing and growing, and visualize a light source that is up there. Touch that light source with your branches and let that come down through your branches, roll through your body, and give that beautiful energy back to Mother Earth. And then she quickly responds with the grounding energy, and it goes up, and then it touches this light, then it goes down. You are a tree. You are a tree. We feel like a blade of grass a lot. We're a tree. We can heal fast. There's a reason for us to be here. So what is happening? Well, we experienced it with the lived experience. We experienced what's happening even scientifically. As we become more aware, what do? Well, we figure out that it's all energy and that I'm here to move it. I'm here to experience it and move it. and then some self-care tools. So we always do this little fun exercise at the end of the circle. It's called the 3-card pull. Choose what group you want. Do you want to be in group 1? Do you want to be in group 2? Do you want to be in group 3? I'm going to pull a card for group 1 and message for you, group 1. Then next I'll pull for group 2, and next I'll pull for group 3. Yes, there's some of you who can't decide and you decide, oh, I'm going to be both of these. That's fine. Whatever you want to do. This is playtime. Okay, group 1. Oh, the butterfly clan. Mental clarity, awakening, and beauty. Number 8. The butterfly clan. Emerging from the whole process. You guys, you got the happy happies. The hummingbird, the number 44. Joy, go for the sweetness. Be light on your feet. Spring is here. Things are changing. Oh, I wish I chose number 1. Oh, I'm just kidding. I don't choose. Sometimes I do. If I watch the replay, I'll tell my husband, pick a number. Because I already know what the cards are going to be. Okay, group 2. Big change. Big change is here. It's the strength card. Epic change. Not just a new chapter, a new book. Strength. You are stronger than you know. And you got something to say, because look at that. Bear is like, ah. And the wolf is like, ah. And the eagle's like, ah. You got to speak your piece about something. And you guys get the wolf. Howl at the wolf. Follow. The message is you're in what one would perceive as uncharted territory. So create your own road. Create your own road through it. Okay. And you've got this. Okay, group 3. I love this card. It's like one of my favorite cards. The Great Star Nation, you are being watched over. The mystery void, good fortune and grace. What is happening is not just it's actually a byproduct of something bigger that's happening in the world. And the Great Star Nation is about your soul's path. You're being led. You're being watched over. That which the divine has revealed to you is actually watching over you and showing up for you. Your guides, your angels, whatever you want to call them, they're here now. And you guys get this one too, the Jaguar. The Jaguar is all about being impeccable and seeing the truth for what it is and not allowing people to convince you otherwise. Trust your gut. How much fun was that? So let me go ahead and wrap up this part of our stuff. Self-care, self-care, self-care. Awesome empaths, grounding and centering. This is a circle with Granddaughter Crow. Thank you so much for joining. And if you are watching this on the recording, please feel free to email me if you have an experience that you want to share. Otherwise, we will talk to you and see you on the flippity flip.